Today I'm celebrating 51 days of straight sales. Yes, want to know how I did it? Stay tuned. Hey everyone, it's Stephanie on Three Queens Resale. If you're new to my channel, thanks for joining, and if you're returning, thanks for coming back. It does mean a lot to me as I start this new YouTube venture. Today I am celebrating 51 days of straight sales. I know, amazing. As a part-time reseller, when I started this out, I would be happy to get one sale a week. And that was just like 18 months ago. So now I'm at the point where I am seeing sales consistently about 18 months in. So in this video, I am going to go over my 3 tips for consistent sales. And if they can work for me, they can work for you. So if that sounds interesting to you, let's get into it. So first of all, before I give you my tips, I want to give you some numbers so you can see how legit I think I am. Like I said, I started this off listing, and not having very many sales, which can be kind of frustrating. But like you, I stayed the course. So you need to stay the course also. And that's not even one of my tips. That's just stay at it. It will come. You will get better and you will start seeing consistent sales. So I have some numbers that I will pop on the screen around me. My last no sale day was March 23rd. Like I say all the time, while I'm super happy and super excited and blessed that I've had 51 days of no sales, uh, of sales, every dog has its day. And so I know another no sale day is coming. It might be the day after I make this video go live. But whenever it does, I am ready for it because I feel like um, I'm consistent and enough in my practices that it's not going to be a long drought. So my last no sale day was March 23rd. I know, 51 days ago. So right a little after we went into quarantine, I got curious to see how many no sale days do I typically have a month. So I just went back to January because let's be real, I wasn't keeping really good data up until the first of the year. That was one of my goals this year. And so I can tell you. So January, I had 8 no sale days. February, I had 3 no sale days. March, I had 2. And April, 0. That's where we want to be. 0 sales days, no sales days. March and February with 3 and 2, that's still not bad. We have had 132 days in the calendar year so far, and about 60 of those I've been in quarantine. Of those 132 days, I had 13 days where I did not make a sale. And if you think about that, that is just amazing for someone who does this as their part-time side hustle. I am a full-time English teacher, and so during the week, that is what I'm doing. I'm teaching, but every evening I come home and I work on this just a little bit so that I can consistently be growing my resale business. So, since the start of the year, since January 1st, I've sold over 300 items. I've sold 302 items. And if I divide that out by the number of days in the year we've had so far, that comes out to 2.88. So, almost an average of 3 packages sold a day. So, I'm super proud of that number. I'm super proud of my consistency, and I hope that you will stay tuned and hear my tips on how I got to that consistency. So my first thing another number I think that you might be interested in is I have 542 items on Poshmark. I did not count eBay and Mecari, although I cross-list everything that can be cross-listed. There are some things that I don't list on Poshmark that are listed on Mecari and eBay, so I will pop in a slide so that you can see my number of listings on all three platforms. Actually, I'm on four platforms now. I have four things listed on Kidizen. I have not made a sale yet, but I do have a ton of kids stuff to list. And so I'm hoping that I will get a sale on there soon. So, my tips for daily sales. Are you ready? And this is from a girl who does not have a bougie, like high-end closet with a bunch of Gucci and all that. My closet and stores are not curated. I sell anything and everything, mostly things out of my house, and my strategy is just volume. It's just to list good things, list good quality things, and regardless of how much, as long as there's value to it, and I think I can make a profit on it, list it. So that's just like my overall like mantra and strategy, um, without getting into all the other stuff. Because I know a lot of the big resellers have those beautiful curated closets, and I wish I would have started in that path at the beginning, but I started listing stuff out of my house, and so it's continued like that, and here I go. So first tip is to list daily. I list every day of the week. Right now, I've got myself in this listing. Like this is my personal listing chart for the month. I just Googled chart of 200 with 200 boxes, and this came up. And then I color in every day. The ones I listed, the different colors show me like my listing patterns. Like so, I've only listed two things to Kidizen this month. Um, I've got three things that I listed to eBay auction. So that's just a way that I keep track of my listings. So by the end of the month, I should have all 200 of these boxes colored in. So that list daily. I list, in order to meet my goal, I have to list about 7 things on average a day. But some days I list 3, and then some days I list 10, so that it all will average out. I do make sure that I'm at the the 50 item mark by the end of every Saturday, so that I start the week off with kind of like a goal of listing 50 items a week to stay on course. Um, I will say it has been a little bit easier for me, and I have had more time. I am, like I mentioned, a teacher, and we are in the midst of the pandemic of 2020. So I am teaching from home online. And while that is extremely demanding, a lot of things I don't have are cut out. I don't have passing periods. I don't have commute times. Um, Actually, we've been at this e-learning thing for about 10 weeks. I don't even get as many questions. The kids are following along with the video. Um, I have not live streamed, mine is all video, and I have a Zoom open that the kids can ask me questions. So I have had a little free time with my job, as this has gone on. Um, so that might explain why I get to list a little more. But 5 things a day has kind of always been my goal since the start of the year. So I list daily, and I think it's good for the algorithm. I don't know what that really means. I'm not a techie person, but I've heard a lot of people say it, and I know that when I consistently list, I consistently sell. So I'm just going to stick with it. My second tip is to accept reasonable offers and send offers. Now, like I've mentioned, most of what I sell, I would say 75%, comes from my own home. So, myself, my husband, or my kids, comes from a donation from friends. So, I do have friends who give me things to sell, and family members, or comes from the bins. The other 25% of what I resell comes from a regular Goodwill store, or probably not even 25%, maybe like 20%. Regular Goodwill store, or a couple of different consignment shops that I like to frequent. So all of my items, my average cost of goods is like right at $1, because I get so much free inventory that it has brought my cost of goods down. That I feel like I said all that to say this. I don't feel bad accepting offers. I price my items fairly. Um, Sometimes I will say I do maybe go a little higher, maybe like 5 to 10% higher to allow for shipping discounts. Um, but I price my items fairly, and then when I send out offers. I send out offers to likers and offers to watchers daily. Um, Not as much on Mecari because of the way their system is, but I also accept offers. I know what is acceptable to me. If someone offers me a 50% off offer, probably not going to do it. Now, I will say, because I've had this streak going, if they offered it to me like at 7:30 in the morning and I hadn't had any other sales, I'd probably take it because I want to keep my streak going. So, but as the day goes on, no, I'm much more, and on certain items, no. Um, Now, I do have things that I've had for a long, long time, and I want to see them go. So I'm more likely to take a lower offer on those. But for the most part, I only accept reasonable offers and I send reasonable offers. So if you're not sending offers, I encourage you to do that, and be consistent with that, just like you're being consistent with your listings. Go ahead and just do it daily. Make it part of your daily routine. I send offers to likers between 9 and 10 p.m. Eastern Time every night. And so most days I wake up to one sale. I find out when I chop it up during the day, I forget where I am and I forget to do it. So I just do it once, and it's done. And then if people want to take it up and take me up on my offer, they can. And then the biggest thing, my third tip, is to cross list. Yes, I cross list everything to one of 4 sites. Very few things are only on one site. And actually, one of my tasks during this pandemic has been to go through and make sure everything is cross listed to each site. So I've been going through each of my bins and checking it to make sure that it is on Mecari, Poshmark, eBay, and Kidson if appropriate, in addition to my regular listings, so that I can make sure that I'm the most eyes are on my product um, possible. The more people who see it, the quicker it's going to sell. So if you are not cross listing, I highly, highly encourage you to do that. I would not have had these consistent sales if I was not on a variety of different platforms. I can't speak enough to cross listing. I have a cross list with me video, and I will link it above. But I do not subscribe to any of the fancy cross list programs. I just copy and paste. Um, I'm fine with it. I get a lot done. I've become quicker with it. I do have a person that writes my listings, a VA. I send her the pictures and the measurements, and she creates the listings. And then on eBay, and then I copy and paste them to the other platforms. But even with that, I still do some editing for each listing, and I add for the majority of them. We're getting to a point where she is really good. Um, so I don't want to spend money having a lister, a person create the listing, and then having a service cross list them. I can cross list them relatively quickly by copying and pasting. So, those are my 3 tips for daily sales. There's just no way around it other than consistency and putting in the hard work. So, with that, I have to be consistent in everything. I am consistent in inventory, I'm consistent in photographing, getting things over to my lister. So, I have just really ramped up um, being consistent so that I could see consistent sales. So if you are like kind of here, there, everywhere, you like work on it, then you get busy with your kids' school play, or I travel a lot for my kids' all-star cheerleading. I had weekends in there particularly in January and February, that would just cheer, cheer, cheer. So I didn't get to list. I didn't have good Wi-Fi. Um, and I can see, like, when I am not consistent with other parts of my business, I'm not particularly listing. I am not consistent. I don't have consistent sales. So the word is consistency. So if you liked my video, I encourage you to give me a thumbs up. YouTube likes it. I like it. It makes me feel good. And also consider subscribing and following me on my reseller journey. I am a relatively new reseller, and I have a different perspective to reselling. It is not my full-time hustle yet. So, but I do have good tips for someone who's just starting off and wants to kind of build this and have a little side hustle to do extra things with your family. I use this money to completely 100% fund my two daughters' all-star cheerleading. And if you know anything about anything all-star or travel, football, baseball, or anything like that, you know it's expensive. So it's a blessing that I found reselling, and I just want to share this blessing with anybody who wants to know about it and wants to get involved and start doing it. So I thank you for your time, and until next time, bye.